Hey guys, good morning. Wednesday morning, deadlift secrets. Got some great information to share with you guys today. I'm gonna try to keep this one really short because I'm actually running a little late today. We have our, I'm doing this in the gym, but we've got a class getting ready to start in 15 minutes. So I'm gonna try to keep this puppy pretty sweet and short and to the point. So we've been going over some of our deadlift secrets over the last week or so. And the first episode of Deadlift Secrets, I talked about, I talked about, what kind of, do you need, how we don't need belts, we don't need straps and wraps and things like that. And I talked about the reason why you don't need to do that is you need to get good at bracing through your abs, and you need to get good at building your own virtual belt before you progress into using accessory tools and belts and wraps and straps. So you got to get really good at the deadlift and the technique. So a true hardstyler always brings master of skill over reps and sets. You'll always focus more on master of skill over reps and sets, okay? So one of the things we're going to focus on today, you will probably never ever hear this cue from your coach, whether he's a powerlifting coach, or just a regular personal trainer. I guarantee I've only heard this one place, and when I heard this from my coach, my mentor that taught me about deadlifting, it blew my mind and it completely changed my deadlift forever. And you'll never guess. Are you ready to hear it? Are you ready to hear it? Okay. This is the one thing that you'll never hear a coach cue you on. You'll probably never see this, and I've actually mentioned this in a couple of my technique videos before. So the one thing that you'll never hear a coach cue you on to improve your deadlift, to help you to get a much better position, right? Because position is always priority, right? Your first repetition is your setup. And if you've got a crappy setup, you're gonna have a crappy deadlift, which means it's gonna make me even harder to continue to build that bigger deadlift. So I know I'm dancing around because I'm trying to build it up a little bit. Because to me, I thought it was mind blowing, okay? And so subtle, but yet so powerful. And here's the thing, is how I talked about, in the deadlift, we need to master both stances, right? Whether it's a classic style deadlift or the sumo. But it all comes down to limb length, the length of your limbs, right? Like your arms, your femurs, your tibias, all that kind of plays into allowing you to get into the best position possible for the deadlift. Here's one thing you can do if you have shorter arms, and even if you have longer arms. This is something you can do. One crucial aspect that you'll never hear anybody cue you on is your triceps, okay? Believe it or not, your triceps are huge on getting a really good position for the deadlift. And you're probably wondering, well, how are my triceps, isn't my back, aren't my lats, like my abs, my glutes, aren't those the most important things? Isn't that what I should really be focusing on when I'm trying to get in a really good position or when I'm getting ready to pull a deadlift? Yes, those are crucial. But we're talking about the tiny little minute details that are gonna make the difference in getting into that optimal position, getting a rock solid wedge, and then eventually pulling from that position. So I'm gonna show you how it works. So whenever you're setting up in the deadlift, okay, and whether you're doing classic style or you're doing sumo style, what you're going to focus on doing is you're not just going to passively grab the bar, okay? So you passively grab the bar, you wedge, you do everything right. You wedge, you get into position, your chest is upright, and you're getting ready to pull. You're not done yet. You're not done yet. Here's what you got to do. What you got to do is, I want to see all three heads of your tricep. So when you lock and you get into position, I want you to imagine like you're doing like a tricep push down. Imagine you're doing a tricep push down. And what you're going to do is, as you lock into position, you're going to flex and you're going to extend your triceps and you're going to push straight down. Okay? So as soon as you lock into position, you're going to be gripping the bar, whether you're gripping, and we're going to cover grips here in just a second, but you're going to extend and flex your triceps. What that does two things, okay? That does two things. When you flex and you extend your triceps, This is crucial, guys, because I see a lot of guys get injured doing this, especially as you start to build the bigger deadlift, okay? So just a little bit on anatomy for those that may be joining us that aren't quite, aren't very familiar with how the body works. We've got all of our muscles do a very specific function. And for some muscles to turn on, we need other muscles to turn off. Okay, so we call these like synergistic, right? Synergistic muscles. So for instance, if I flex my tricep, it causes my bicep to relax. Okay, if I flex my bicep, it causes my tricep to relax. Make sense? Okay, so when I flex and I contract my triceps and I'm pushing the bar down, okay, and I'm contracting the tricep, it causes the bicep to relax, which takes tension out of your bicep tendon. I've seen several guys when they get into position to pull, and they pull, they get like elbow flexion. They get elbow flexion out of their bicep. And when you put a lot of tension on that bicep, especially if you're doing a reverse grip like this, and you're doing a reverse grip and you're getting a lot of tension on your bicep, you can tear the bicep. So, which is not good, right? You don't want a torn bicep. So, and I've seen this. I've seen guys pulling really heavy and they get too much flexion, they get too much tension on the bicep because they're actually trying to pull the bicep, and then you see the bicep just slip right up into the shoulder. Not good. So, whenever you extend through the tricep, you're turning the bicep off and you're taking the tension off of the bicep. So that's gonna, for the health of your arms, that's gonna increase your health, okay? That's gonna help you to pull long term. That's gonna help you to pull bigger numbers injury-free, okay? The next second thing that the tricep does is as you flex and you contract the tricep and you're getting ready to pull, you actually make your arms probably about 1/4 of an inch longer. So whenever you flex the triceps and you drive down, it allows you to get a little bit taller because you're gonna give yourself about another 1/4 inch length, which means you're gonna ultimately pull the bar less of a distance. Okay, so you don't have to pull the bar as far. So when you don't have to pull the bar as far, makes the lift easier, right? Because at the end of the day, the goal is to pull the weight from a dead position and pulling up to a standing lockout position, okay? So, let me see if I can demo this. So, I'm gonna have to do it like this because my hands will come out of the screen here. So if let's say I'm in this position here like this, okay? And I'm just like passively grabbing the bar. My arms aren't as long as they can be, okay? But if I'm here like this, and I extend and lock through my triceps, my arms get a little bit longer, okay? You'll know what I mean. Practice this, you'll know exactly what I mean, and you'll feel your arms get longer, okay? So, once you grip the bar, okay, I always recommend starting with the double overhand grip, okay? Double overhand grip. And you want to stick with that double overhand until your grip begins to fail. Eventually the bar will roll out of the fingers. That's when you'll switch to an alternate grip, and you'll alternate grips between sets. So until that time, you're going to deadlift with the double overhand grip, okay? And then we have what's called a hook grip, which is a really advanced skill. This is primarily in an Olympic weightlifting, but you can also do it when you're working on the deadlift. And basically, this is going to take something to work up to if you want to venture into this, but you're basically going to hook the bar with the thumb and lock over the thumb with your fingers, okay? So it keeps the bar from rolling out because it kind of locks right into your thumb. So that's a really advanced grip, but you will see a lot of high-end, a lot of elite powerlifters will switch to that double overhand because when you're in a double overhand position, it puts less strain on the bicep tendon, okay, which is going to have less injuries. So you'll see a lot of like strongmen and a lot of elite powerlifters train with straps because it allows them to keep their hands double over, and it takes the bicep tension out of the bicep. So double overhand grip, okay. Once the bar gets really heavy, then you'll switch to a over-under grip. So that's today's secret that I want to share with you guys, is to build the bigger deadlift. You have to learn how to take advantage of the length of your arms, and you got to work on getting your arms longer. So in order to get your arms longer, we're gonna be focusing on flexing through the tricep. That's gonna do two things like I mentioned. That's going to take the tension out of the bicep, because whenever you contract the tricep, it forces the bicep to relax. Two, it's gonna get your arms longer, so now you have to pull the bar less of a distance. So you'll notice that whenever you go through this skill and you practice this technique, you'll notice that your arms, when you flex the tricep, your arms will get about 1/4 of an inch longer, okay? And what that's gonna do is that's gonna allow you to get into a much better position, and it's gonna allow you to have a much better wedge. And the better the wedge, the better position, the straighter the bar path is gonna be, which means you're gonna be able to lift more weight and a lot more weight safe and more safely. Safely, I don't know. That's it, guys. That's all I wanted to share with you guys today. So again, this is a cue you'll probably never ever hear a coach ever tell you, is cueing you on your triceps. I've never ever heard of that until I started learning how to deadlift from my coach, and once he showed me that and I started practicing that, it completely changed the game on how I deadlift, and allowed me to get into a much better position. So again, that's the purpose of this, is me bringing you guys just information that you'll probably never hear. And two, it's also going to help, you know, build you a much bigger and stronger deadlift, and you're gonna be able to deadlift a lot longer and safer, more safely. There you go, more safely. All right, guys, I gotta go. Class is about to start, Have a good one. Bye.